Okay, any questions 1 through 6 from yesterday? No? We're doing okay on those? Okay, how about 7 through 11? So actually the easiest way to do 10 would have been to subtract this matrix from the other one. So 20 minus 0, negative 1 minus negative 9 would be plus 9. 20 plus 4 minus negative 4. And then, so then you have 4c equals that, and then divide them all by 4. So that one's not too bad.
I wish they for like 4 or 5 wasn't
4 or 5, yeah, you want your whole assignment to be undefined. No.
Yes, I do.
Okay, and how about then 12 through 15? And on those, sometimes there's more than one equation to write.
For 13, I had y equals negative 4.
Yeah, and these are Bob's answers, not mine. So,
I could be wrong. Probably.
so to get y, let's see. To get y, you have to have x first.
Yeah,
Okay. So then we would have y, we would have 2y. Yeah. There's only one way to get y. 2y minus x times negative 2, which is plus minus a negative 2 times x, and that's equal to negative 6. There's only one way to get it. What do we got to do to get y? We got 2 times y, and you got a negative x times a negative 2, and that's equal to negative 6. You found your mistake?
Yeah.
So, of course, I would have probably just multiplied the negative x times negative 2 and went straight to 2y plus 2 times 2. Or 2y plus 4 equals negative 6. Subtract 4, you get negative 10. Divide by 2, you get negative 5. Okay? Not too bad? Not too bad. All right. So that was matrix addition and scalar multiplication, which is just multiplying by constant. Again, it's probably going to take us most of the day to get through the notes.
My y on 14 was also not 0. How?
We need to look at 14 too. 14. Yeah, you got to get x first. Did you get x correct?
I got x equals negative 3.
You got x equals negative 3. Well, you got to get x first. So it would be x times 3 minus, well, x times 3 minus negative 1 has to be equal to 10. Yeah. Oh, he did that different. He did that a different way.
Does that mean that I'm right or wrong?
Wrong.
Is x equal negative 3?
I think Bob
But yeah, he did that a different way. I don't know how you did it. He did that a different way. I would have just wrote the one equation.
Am I still wrong?
3x 3x plus 1 equals 10. No, it's positive 3.
I don't.
3x plus 1 equals 10. So then we'd subtract 1. That's the way I would have done that one. There's more than one way to do these, which is one of the tricky things. So then 3x equals 9. And divide by 3, you get positive 3.
How did I end up with negative 15 divided by negative 5 to get negative? Oh, wait. Yeah, 'cause
Negative 15 divided by, negative 15 divided by negative 5 is positive 3.
it's positive 3?
A negative divided by a negative is positive, yes.
I have no idea.
That's your problem. Okay. Next, we need to look at matrix multiplication. And we'll spend a few more days on multiplication than we did on addition. And again, make sure you have a graphing calculator. Because we will want to do that. All right, that first matrix there. What is the size? What are the dimensions of that matrix?
2 by 3.
Yes, it's 2 by 3. Okay. So in order to multiply, okay, in order to add matrices, right, they had to be exactly the same dimensions. Okay? Well, not so with multiplying. What you got to do is we do have to check the dimensions. And the insides have to be the same. So let's kind of talk about an example. Let's say I had a 2 by 3 matrix and a 3 by 4 matrix. Okay. The number of columns in the first matrix has to equal the number of rows in the second matrix. In order to multiply two matrices, the insides have to be the same. Okay? The answer's dimensions, or the result, will be the number of rows of the first matrix and the number of columns of the second matrix. So if I had a 2 by 3 multiplied by a 3 by 4, my answer would be a 2 by 4. Which is about $8 at Lowe's right now because of
What's $8 a load right now?
$8. 2 by 4 is doubled in price with the pandemic.
I was gonna say,
And their wood is terrible.
Yeah, it is.
So
Okay.
they are just one bad.
I'm just
All right, so you with me? So this is really important. And there will be at least one question that you can't do. It could be undefined. Okay, because what has to be the same? In order to multiply, the insides have to be the same.
What's the number by
The insides. 2 by 3 times a 3 by 4. What's the same? The insides.
How is the inside the same, but not all the same number?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, that's what you
That's what I mean.
the inside number.
In order to do it, the inside has to be the same, and the answer is the outsides. If we're looking at, we got a 2 by 3 by a 3 by 4. The answer will be, the result or the answer will be that number of rows from the first matrix and number of columns from the second matrix. Okay? switches. Close. All right. Now, in order to calculate each element, what you have to do, you take, if I want to find element 1, 3, okay? So that's going to be, I want to find element 1, 3. That's going to be row 1 of matrix A matched up with column 3 of matrix B. And each element, and we'll see this in a moment, each element will have a partner that will pair up, and you will multiply them together and add the products together to find the new element. Before we do that, just a little dimension practice. If I have a 3 by 4 multiplied by a 4 by 5, what is going to be the size of C? First of all, can you do it?
No.
What?
Yeah,
Yes, we can.
there's a 4.
Because the 4s are the same,
It's
the inside's the same, so what's the result? Yeah. No,
3 by 5.
3 by 5. C would be 3 rows by 5 columns.
So what, how is this?
So, but how do you,
We'll get there. We first have to understand what the result's going to be, and then how you match them up to multiply them together. Okay?
how do you get 3 by 5?
How do I get 3 by 5? Because that's the rows from the first one and the columns from the second one.
And that,
The insides have to be the same, but the answer will be the outsides. Okay? I know, it's weird.
so it's what, the next one?
If you were going to go into computer programming, not that you would necessarily, but you would take an entire class on matrices. I mean, they're an entire class called linear algebra. It's easy because there's no squares, and we don't have crazy curves or anything. It's all arithmetic. Okay? So, number 2, can we do it?
No. I mean, yes.
Yes. What's the result?
1's by 7.
1 by 7, right.
3 is undefined.
3 is undefined.
Yeah.
Why is it undefined?
Because the inside's not the same.
Yeah, 3 and 4 don't equal each other, so you can't do it.
Next one's 1 by 1.
Well, yeah, 1 by 13 by a 13 by 1 would be a 1 by 1. Okay. So, that's just a little practice. Now let's talk about how we calculate each element in the answer. We have to multiply the row of matrix A times the column of matrix B, and that will give us the element. So let's kind of look at what we have here. We have to get that very first number, okay? Everybody gets a buddy and you work with them in order. So C1, comma 1, the element from matrix C, okay, would be 1 times 1 plus negative 1 times 2. Now what did I do? I took the first row, I took 1 times 1 plus negative 1 times 2. It's the row from the first matrix times the column of the second. Okay? So what is that? 1 plus negative 2 is negative 1.
Is that it?
Well, no. I've got to do this. What is my result? I'm doing what do I have? I have a 2 by 3. No, sorry.
3 by 2.
I have a 3 by 2. I have 3 rows by 2 columns, that's matrix A, right? And B is 2 by 2. So my result is gonna be 3 by 2. So I have I have to do this 6 times to figure out 6 values that are gonna be in the matrix.
We did 6 times?
Yes. Okay, so what's next? C12 would be row 1 times column 2. Okay, what is my answer? Now what's my final answer over here? My final answer is my first element is -1. 1, 1. So what's this one gonna be? Well, it's easy. 1 times -2 plus -1 times 3.
Wait, what?
Okay,
Sorry.
so.
No, you lost it.
Well, what did I do?
That's not
Same thing.
-2, or no,
1 times -2.
So you do the outside and the top, and the inside and the bottom.
Right, the first, you multiply the first, the elements go in order. So 1 times
Yeah,
-2,
now I got it.
now you got it, okay. And then -1 times 3.
Now I got it.
So that's what, -5?
I put this down now.
Well, it takes a time or two.
Is it supposed, what? So you're using 1 and negative, that doesn't make sense, why'd you do that?
Because that's what C12 is.
Okay, what do you gotta do?
Oh,
Column 1 times row 2.
I got it.
Okay, so what do we do for this one? Here, let me, what do we do? If we need to walk through this again, so you understand how we're getting this. 1 times 1. 1 times 1, you take the first one of the row times the first one of the column. 1 times 1. Plus the second one of the row times the second one of the column. -1 times 2. Okay, and that's C11. To get C12, I'm doing the same thing. 1 times -2 plus -1 times 3 will be C12. Okay, and we keep going.
Then we just keep moving
Yeah,
times 1.
so C21, okay. C21 would be what?
3 times 1
3 times 1
plus 2 times 2.
plus 2 times 2.
Oh, okay, I got it now, you got it down bad.
Which is 7.
Now this.
Okay?
Now I get it.
It just takes a little bit. You have to process it. Okay, so then C22
3 times -2, 2 times 3, which would be 0.
yeah. 0. And then I'm running out of room, so right below that, I'm just gonna start activating the buttons at the bottom. So what else do I got left? I got C31, which would be 0 times 1 plus 5 times 2, which is
No,
10. And then C32,
0 times -2, 5 times 2, plus
which would be 0 times -3 plus 5 times 3.
be -2.
Yeah, -2. It's still time multiplying by 0,
So that's
so that'd be 15.
Oh, wait, oh.
Okay. Not too bad, a lot of little steps. You have to know how to do it because, again, if you look on the back side, we'll see we still have problems that have variables in them.
We're doing that tomorrow, right?
Huh?
We're doing that like tomorrow, right?
What?
The variables?
No.
Oh, jeez. They only got me for
Okay.
we do this on the back, we do the same thing that we just did.
We do the same thing. 6 and 7 are just more practice.
So can we just copy this, the C1 and C2 chart thing down so we can remember it? The first two.
Yeah, what?
Well, and the other thing, I'm also going to show you can do this on the calculator if there's no variables. That helps, right?
Yeah.
We did adding on the calculator, we can multiply.
I need to understand how to do it without the calculator.
Okay, so what do we have?
1, 1.
We have a 1 by 2, and B is a 2 by 2. So the final answer would be
1 by 2.
a 1 by 2. We can do it because we have 2 by 2, 2's in the middle, right? And the final answer will be, matrix C will be a 1 by 2.
And that's
So, matrix C, if it's 1, what does that mean? 1 by 2 means what?
Row one?
1 row and 2 entries. And usually what we do for these elements to name them, this is a capital C, and the elements are lowercase. So we have C11 and C12. So this one is not as hard to do. You only got 2 elements to figure out.
So C1 would be -5.
So C11
-5 times 2 is 4 times plus 4 times 10.
would be, -5 times 2 plus 4 times 2. No, it's not -18. That's -10 plus 8. -2. Then C12, -5 times 5 plus 4 times -6, -49.
Is that our answer?
So our final answer would be -2, -49.
Where in the real world would we use this?
Never, but you gotta learn it because it's how it is.
Algebra 2,
All your tests.
and where would it be used? In
Yeah.
computer programming.
But like, for what?
Computer programming.
Actually, I don't want to know.
Computer programming.
Again, your computer screen is a matrix.
I-
All those pixels we talked about the first day I introduced this, right?
7, 1 by 3.
What?
I was saying, no, I was saying that the 2 -1 0 is 1 by 3.
1 by 3 and 3 by 1.
We have a 1, A would be a 1 by 3,
C is
B is a 3 by 1, so the final answer would be 1 by 1.
So just be C1.
So yeah, there's only one element.
So 2 times -5
2 times -5
plus -1 times 6
is -1 times 6
plus 0
plus 0
times 3.
times 3. Negative 10 and negative 6 and 0 is negative 16, and that's a 1 by 1 matrix. Now, before we do the variable ones, let's show how to do this on the calculator. What? Yeah, you got to know how to do it because you're not going to want to do inverses. Okay, so let me quit. So remember how to get to matrix. How do we get to the matrix menu? Second, x to the minus 1 is the matrix menu. So let's just do 6 and 7 for the practice. This second, using the calculator to let's double check our work. That's why you should do it, is to double check your work on the calculator, because then you'll know if you got it right or not. So we'll go in and we'll edit matrix A, right? And matrix A is what size? 1 by 2. Okay, and then I got to put my elements in there. Negative 5, 4. So there's matrix A. Negative 5, 4. And then I'll edit matrix B is 2 by 2, which I have the right size. So now I just need to put my numbers in. 2, 5, 2, negative 6, and then on the home screen, I can go matrix A times matrix B. A times B. Negative 2, negative 49. If we did it right. Now notice if you try to do matrix B times matrix A, what's going to happen? What's going to happen if I try to multiply B times A? I got a dimension mismatch. It's undefined. Can't do it. Okay. Got it? I'll do another one like that. Do the second one for the practice. Well, we got plenty of time. We got time. Matrix. I'm going to edit it. What size is number 7? It's 1 by 3. So we got to put in 2, negative 1, 0. And edit matrix B. Which is 3 by 1. Negative 5, 6, 3.
Wait, so that's just the same thing as you have, like, the same way you have the calculator, you just don't put a plus or minus between them?
Right. Because if there's no, yeah, you could put a times between them if you want to.
Okay,
So, yeah, I mean, you could do second matrix. So you got to do, we're going to do A times B. You can put a times sign between them if you want to. But if you don't write it, multiplication is understood, correct? A times B. Negative 16. That's what we got. That's what we got on pencil and paper. Okay, again, we're going to want to know how to do this going forwards. And it's a good, even on the test or quiz, why wouldn't you use your calculator to check your answer? Right? Even if you got to know what you're doing, why would, even if you think it's right, why wouldn't you use your calculator to check your answer? I would. Okay, so with variables, what do we got to do? And there's multiple ways to solve it. But what? -1 times -2. If I multiply that by that row, if that's my equation, right? What's that equal to? Row 1 times column 1 is equal to what number? Huh? Yeah, that's equal to 9. Okay, so really it's not any harder to solve for a missing element in a matrix in one of these types of questions. If I multiply, and I could do this with anything. If I multiply row 2 times column 3, what's that equal to? Row 2 times column 3 is equal to -17. Now, maybe we would want to do, maybe if we're looking at this, maybe I'd want to multiply this number because there's a 0 in the equation. But if your 0 was in this spot, that would be a problem because then you just canceled out x. Okay? Row 2 times column 2 is equal to what? -20. Okay? So really, that's how you set up your equation to find a missing variable. It's not that hard. That's why you have to know the manual way of solving it. So what's my equation? It would be 1 times y is equal to 9. And then the second equation would be -5 times 0 plus x times -5 is equal to -20. And we've got, there's our equations we need to solve, and we got y plus -2 times -4 is 8. Y plus 8 equals 9. Minus 8. Y equals 1. 0 plus, so we got a -5x equals -20. So we get 4. No, it's not. Okay.
It's really not that bad.
No homework tonight. You still don't understand it? If we need to do a couple more tomorrow together or from the assignment, we can.
We're gonna.
I'm gonna get it.
Huh?
You're gonna have to teach it for 3 days.
Well, I recorded.
Oh, Kara's not gonna watch it, and some people like to do it.
What are you doing?
That might go to